Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, where today we're going to visit with the King of Beasts. Yes, the mighty and majestic lion has become the epitome of strength, courage, and ferocity. Throughout man's history, he's been portrayed in stories and pictures as the mightiest and most ferocious animal of all. At one time, he had a much wider range and was only eliminated from southern Europe during historic times. He also formerly ranged throughout the Middle East and parts of Asia. But today, the lion is only found in one small forest in western India and throughout much of Africa south of the Sahara Desert. Many lions live in brush country where the mane is often shortened by the brambles. Males that live in open country will usually develop the majestic black mane that is so characteristic of the mature adult. Where other cats live alone or in pairs, lions live in a family group called a pride. Females and young males have no mane, so in a family group, the adult males can be quickly identified. Living and hunting as a pride has helped the lion achieve dominance over other animals in the endless competition for food and survival. They will sometimes challenge animals much larger than themselves. If the pride is very hungry, they will even attack a full-grown giraffe. For size and strength, there is nothing that compares with the African elephant. However, where lions are on the prowl, he will often hesitate to enter that area. The rhino is equipped with superb protective devices plus a very bad temper. He inhabits the same scrub and grasslands where the lion is found. I've never heard from a reliable source of lions attacking the adult rhino. Here indeed is real competition, and an angry rhino would be a match for almost anything that moves on the face of the earth. Yet with all of this, the lion is still king of beasts, and he is here with us now. So let's meet him. Here is the king of beasts.
They're a couple of beasts, all right, but at 2 months of age, it's going to be a long while before they can be called kings.
Oh, come to me. Jim, at this age, I think we better call one prince and the other princess.
Yeah, well, it's time for this one to be fed.
Don't worry, your time comes next. These cubs will be raised here at our zoo or at some other zoo where their treatment and surroundings will be totally different than if they were raised in the wild state. But what will this difference mean to them? Will they be healthier? Will they be happier? What would their life have been like if they were born in the wild kingdom? Well, let's find out what life is like to a young lion born in Africa. When a lion cub first enters the world, he's almost entirely helpless. One mother will babysit with cubs of others and may even feed them. A cub's eyes may not open for 10 days, and at first his eyesight is so poor he will follow anything that moves. The mother lion stays very close to her cubs at this age, and she gives them little opportunity to get away from her. Her great teeth enable her to hold on with a firm but gentle grip. The presence of strangers will cause a mother lion to be concerned, and of course her first concern is for her cubs. At this age, the baby knows nothing about life's dangers, and his only concern is his next meal. Naturally, he follows the lunch wagon wherever it goes. Life is not easy when you're feeding from a moving lunch wagon, but eventually it has to come to rest. Roughhousing is a very important part of the play activity of these cubs. Babysitting this many charges must require great tolerance. Curiosity and cats just seem to go together. And lion cubs are constantly trying new things. The world looks different from up high, but one thing is certain, you can see more of it. Young cubs constantly exhibit the aggressive behavior which in adult life will make them successful predators. The only bath for a new lion cub consists of a licking with mother's tongue, but most young cubs prefer to play. It looks like lion cubs may lead a pretty nice life in the wild, but it's impossible to make an estimate of how many cubs survive in the wild state and how many do not. We're pretty sure that there is a much higher mortality rate there than here at the zoo. As soon as our lion cubs are born, they're removed from the mother and put in an incubator where temperature and atmosphere are controlled. They're fed special formulas prescribed by the doctor and in general get the same care and concern that newborn children get. Jim, how about letting me finish feeding this little one while you go out and get Leo?
All right.
You're doing pretty well. But in about another week, this little kid is going to be eating meat. It's almost finished feeding on the bottle. It's about 2 months old now. Okay, that's all of that one. That's all gone. Now, back to the incubator.
Old Leo's growing up real fast, Marlin.
He certainly is. About 50 pounds, I'd say.
At least.
Maybe I better feed him. Jim, I don't think you'll be handling that little lion cub very much longer.
Probably not.
He's about 5 months old now, and that puts him in the teenager group. He still has the spots of a lion cub, and this leads us to believe that the ancestors of lions may have lived in the forest where the spots helped to camouflage them. Today's lions live in the open grassland and lose their spots by the time they're 2 years old. But now let's see what this little lion cub's life would be like if he were living on the plains of Africa. The teenage lion still spends time with mother, and at 6 months he is rapidly learning about life. At this age he must learn self-preservation, both how to hunt and kill and how to keep from being killed. He grows even more curious, and the slightest sound will stir his interest. It's not long before the young lions are ready to follow mother on the hunt. Here the cubs will learn that dangers exist even for a lion. The mamba is one of the deadliest of all snakes, and his bite could be fatal to any animal. At 10 months, the teenagers are beginning to take part in the activities of the pride. The male lions now are more interesting to the cubs, and there are lessons to be learned from them too, even if only lessons in how to relax and take life easy, or how to pose like the king of beasts. Exuberance is a natural part of being a teenager, which father has to tolerate. Female lions do most of the hunting for the pride and are the first to sense the opportunity. Now, the young lions may have a chance to test their hunting skill. Teenage lions usually make their first kill on a small or a weak animal. This young wildebeest has come to an early end, But life is short for the weak members of any species of animal. This applies to the lion as well as to his prey. Even a teenage lion shows great strength. Today, these cubs have learned one of their first lessons in what a lion's life is all about. In a pride of lions, there are many mouths to feed, and the successful hunter must share his food. It may be 3 days between meals in the world of the lion, and in that time, the king of beasts can develop quite an appetite. All young lions of this age are dangerous when they're eating because they're beginning to look after themselves. They learn by living and hunting with the pride, but the strongest and the biggest lions get the most of everything, and as the young lions grow up, there is even greater competition. The young males eventually have to leave the pride and find their own territory. Here they will start a pride of their own and will be quick to challenge any other males that try to enter their territory. To challenge lions in their own territory is a most interesting experience, and Jim Fowler recently had this experience at first hand.
One of the things I wanted to find out was just how a lion would react to being challenged in his own territory. I couldn't very well take another lion along with me, so I decided to do it myself with the help of a portable tape recorder. First, I recorded the roar of a male lion in one territory. Marlon, that's probably the first time that little cub has heard the roar of an adult male lion.
I think it is, Jim. He was raised in a nursery, and he never heard any other lions down there.
That's quite a reaction. In Africa, my plan was to use the roar on the tape to do the challenging with. So I traveled many miles until I came to the territory of another group of lions. There were quite a few females and young males lying around sunning themselves. I thought the big males might be somewhere back in the bush. The lion sat up and took notice, all right. However, the big males didn't appear. So I figured I'd come across a wandering pride of young cats that had not established a territory. And hearing the roar of an adult male, they must have feared they were intruding in the territory of another pride. So they took off. I moved on and finally found another group of lions. The first reaction here was one of curiosity. Again, the females and cubs took it as a sign to move away. This time, the big males were nearby to answer the challenge. And the first one to come out seemed a little confused. He was probably not ready to accept the challenge, and he moved on. But suddenly, two more big males came out straight toward me. They clearly had it in mind to drive the intruder away, but fortunately they were looking for a lion, not me, and they had no reason to associate the sound of the roar with my tape recorder. They didn't seem to be afraid, and they weren't giving up the search. So rather than press my luck too far, I decided to make a strategic withdrawal.
Do you suppose you'll ever be able to roar like that someday? What makes the lion king of beasts? Is it his agility, his weapons, his courage, his strength? The answer is best found in his own home territory. Once an adult has established his territory and started a family, the range of the pride will cover many miles. This territory will usually be centered around a water hole, and it is here that the most dramatic and violent events ever witnessed in the wild kingdom may occur. Lions know the natural habits of their prey, including the times of day when other animals gather in greatest numbers at the water hole. Wildebeests instinctively hesitate to expose themselves to so obvious an enemy, but they must use the water hole too, and their need for water eventually outweighs their caution. The lions move away from the water, thereby setting the stage for the first act in this drama of life and sudden death. As the animals drink, the lions make ready for the attack. Each plays a special role in this drama. The big male remains very much in evidence, perhaps as a decoy to give the impression that the lions are really not hungry. Many different animals come to drink. Zebra and wildebeest are very common. Giraffe join the group and engage in a little skirmish. Even the zebras and wildebeest seem unaware of the imminent danger. It is no easy maneuver for a giraffe to drink. The problem is not only getting down to the water, but pumping it back up. The tick birds, though, have no problem. Their favorite food, ticks, are here in abundance. To help rid themselves of the ever-present flies, wildebeest take advantage of any opportunity to wallow in mud or dust. An animal on the ground, however, suggests an opportunity of another kind. The various animals mix together, seeking safety in numbers. But when the lions are hungry, there is no real safety. Now all the members of the pride gather to share in the feast. All join in, even those who are still learning their trade. Even though they did not participate in the kill, they participate in the proceeds. It gets mighty crowded at the dinner table and many fights develop. Now especially there is no respect for age. And when an old female tries to join in, she may well be driven away by her own offspring. There is no place in the wild for the old and the weak. The crafty ones may have their chance soon. After the first shift is eaten, they drink deeply at the water hole. Each member who has eaten and drunk his fill now seeks a quiet, shady place to rest, relax, and digest his tremendous dinner. Today there was enough for everyone. Even the lowly jackal may have his chance to grab a few scraps. The scavengers will soon pick the last shreds from the carcass, and in a few hours there will be nothing left but bones bleaching in the sun. Thus ends another day in the life of the King of Beasts. After having seen this action around a waterhole in Africa, it's easy to understand why the lion is called King of Beasts. Now I want you to meet King Solomon, who has reached the advanced age of 15. This is a ripe old age among lions, and here is the really significant difference between a lion living his life in the wild kingdom and in the zoo. Old age for a lion, just as for any living thing, is an age of increasing infirmities. In the wild kingdom, there is no provision for old age. When an animal is sick, injured, or old, he will quickly be left behind to die or to be killed. This fine fellow will probably be alive for many more years and will still enchant those who come to see him here at the St. Louis Zoo. Man, with his intelligence and his ability to use his hands, dominates most of the animals of the earth. This isn't always for the best, of course, and we are constantly working to undo the wrongs that are done to the animal populations. Part of this work is done in our zoos. After all, life in the zoo isn't so tough. We feel that by bringing these fine animals into the zoos, man and the animals both benefit. Man gains a better understanding of his fellow creatures, and this in turn benefits all of the animals of the wild kingdom.